Hobbies.
Welcome back to Stockpile Hobbies. My name is Steve, and I'm here today to share the tips and tricks I used to help Kim change her boring standard display of dolls from this to this exciting and dynamic diorama of figures like this. It might not be immediately obvious the tips and tricks I used, but in this video I'm going to share with you what I did to create this. So for the first part of the video here, I know it's dark. We're going to go downstairs into the basement where I have all the proper lighting to show this off, but I wanted to show off the Day of the Dead doll with the lighting, having the band on display, and how dynamically posed all the figures are at night here and how cool it looks. I could use some more LED lighting here, but this is no, and please forgive the Megatron on the wall. This is normally where I have my Transformers display, but for Halloween I thought it'd be cool to put some of the cooler looking dolls up here to show off the cool Day of the Dead doll on top as well. So let's head down to the basement and let's take a look at some of the tricks I used to pull this off. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people have dolls and other figures displayed like this when they use a figure stand. The doll or figure is standing in a stance with their legs pretty much up and down, or usually in a triangle fashion, arms straight down, or maybe something like that usually. Looking straight on, and you might even have all the dolls in a row, as I showed at the beginning of the video, at the same height. It's not exciting, it looks cluttered, and it's not dynamic. So the first thing we can do to add some flavor to this is look at the display stand itself here. So the display stand that comes with the Rainbow High dolls is actually pretty dynamic. The ones here, as you see in the photo here, all the figures to get in these poses, I did not leave the stand in this form. There's a couple options here we can do with it. In this form, it's pretty secured, it's locked in, and this is at a set height, which means the figure is stuck in this position and only has this base width to move. You might be able to get a leg up in the air like that or so, and maybe like this, but you see she's falling over and you'll run into other issues as well. So when I created the Day of the Dead display, first thing I started doing was messing with the display stand, and it was to take it apart and reassemble it with the tab down. By doing this, we are now able to adjust the height of the clamp here that goes onto the figure at any position we want. So this now allows us to pose the figure any way we want on the stand at any height without needing to worry about it being lifted in the air or look like it's floating. So now, see, it's pretty stable, and that's because I have this a little bit lower or higher than it needs to be to make sure she's on there and it's not going to move. And that's great. Now looking at the guitar player in the picture here, we can see that she's in a stance that I actually used when I played guitar. I kind of configured her the way I used to play on stage. And to do that, I couldn't have the bass here in this form. I actually had to turn the bass around backwards and flip the clamp over to the back side. Now we are able to put her on the surface of the display at any height we want, or it needs to be, and we can now give her legs some life and motion. These dolls come with like 13 or 15 points of articulation, and we can now start taking better advantage of what we have with the doll and its articulation here. So with the display stand now like this, we can have her on the surface, she's stable, and we can start giving some life to the legs, some motion to the figure. She's happy, she's running. We can have her kicking in this motion also, or as I set up the guitar player here, I had her pretty much hunched down with the guitar in her hand, and we're able to do that now, like that. We have all the surface area we need to give some posability to the legs and some life into the figure here. The next thing obviously is the arms. You don't want to have all the arms just straight up and down. Have her arms doing things. These dolls come with a lot of accessories. You can now bling her out with different things. As you see here on Ash, I got him double fisting some drinks. The guitar player here in this picture, she's got her leg up on the riser and she's playing the guitar. And that's the next thing we're going to talk about here, risers. You can see in the picture here I have these boxes that the figures are on. These boxes are actually from some of my Transformers that they came in. And I was able to put them down so you can't see any of the Autobot logos and use them as risers. And what that does is it creates a variability in what you're looking at. So they're not all in a straight line. They're not all the same height. There are some that are crouched down lower. There are some that are propped up higher. And it gives more life and it makes the diorama look more dynamic. It's more interesting to look at. It's breaking up the monotony of having everything all looking the same and squared off. Now, I actually ran out of risers and I was looking for something to use and I had a clever idea. It's the accessory boxes they all come with. This makes a perfect riser. You can have it down this way, and as you see here, you can see the clothes in this one. In the display up top of the fireplace, it's up so high you can't see that. But you flip it over, look at that, it's iridescent. And now you put her on the riser, like so. And now look at this. She's up, raised up. She's now on a 2 to 3 inch riser above any of the other figures that would be on just the normal display stand. And that's great. It's awesome that we can repurpose these boxes here to create some more dynamicism in the display. Really cool. One of the other things you want to make sure you're doing is taking advantage of the articulation that we were given with the figures we have. The head. The head is on a ball joint and it can go any which way we want, and we should do that. We don't want them looking straight forward, have them looking off at something, have them pointing at it, or, saying to come, like they're going to dance off, and that's great. Take advantage of everything you can with articulation. Add the accessories, add the purses, add the jewelry, add the thermoses that they get. It's them all unique, distinct, and interesting to look at. And then you do this, and you put that on a riser, and look at her. And this is what I'm talking about here. Different heights of the figures. We have one sitting in a chair at a low level. We have one at the standard height. She's actually jumping though. Her feet are off the ground. She's in the air. She's got her arms up. She's got an accessory in her hand. She's looking away. And one at a higher level than all the rest in a dynamic pose. It's almost like Charlie's Angels almost, now that I look at it. But that's really what you want to do. Take advantage of articulation, take advantage of the stands, and take the advantage of the risers that are given to you in the packaging. Now, I know a lot of you also like to keep the boxes. The boxes are great. They have the window into them. But you really want to ask yourself, am I buying this for a financial investment, or am I buying these to enjoy them? It's something I deal with all the figures I have as far as Transformers and other things. And I encourage you all to open your figures, get them out of the box, and get them on display into dynamic poses, and enjoy the things you're buying. Let others enjoy them. Let other people touch them and feel them and pose them. We do this with our kids. They can come down. They can touch anything down here. They're just toys. If you want to make money, invest in the stock market. Invest in something else that will gain you money. The toys, you might make a couple bucks here and there. You can make $1,000, but it's nothing compared to what you can really do if you invest your money properly. I encourage you. You enjoy the items you're buying and that you're spending your time hunting on. Get them out of the box, get them in your hands, and pose them. Create displays and dioramas and show them off. Make them look good. And finally, along those lines, my last tip is to avoid overcrowding and cluttering your figures. A lot of times that just comes down to the space you have available to you. The ponies over here are a good example of what I'm talking about. Now, Kim did a good job here. She actually has them on risers. There's different heights, and that's great. But there's also an army here. And when you look at it, it just overwhelms you. It's hard to just pinpoint things. You want to create dynamic scenes with a few characters that you can. I do this with my Transformers as well. You want to avoid this, like I have here. Now, we do this for filming, and yeah, this is too much. There's too much here going on. But over here, and to some extent, even over here, there's probably two guys who probably come out of this, but it's because that's the group. But I'm creating a scene that's not the entire collection, but it's trying to tell a story here. And this is really what you want to avoid, is the crowded look that here's the entire 150 pieces that I got, all in the collection, all on the shelf, all in a row. It's a little much to take in for anyone. It just kind of looks like hoarding. And you know, don't get me wrong, we're all hoarders. We're Stockpile Hobbies here. We have way too much. But if you're gonna create something nice in your house, a nice area to display something, try and keep it small and concise and have it tell a story. Are they at a nightclub? Are they at a beach? Are they hanging out in the Rainbow High House? Just create scenes that tell a small story. It's not often we get in the camera together. So like I said before, Kim was downstairs filming some videos here, and I came up. All the figures were in a straight line right across the front of the fireplace, and I just took the time. I was sitting here watching the kids, and we created this dynamic display here. I'm really happy with the way the guitar player turned out over here. She's really in a great stance, and the other ones too. You see I got the stands backwards. I got them flipped upside down. And I got the drummer on a riser. She's actually standing up full height, but it looks like she's sitting down behind the drums as well. The guitar player's got her leg up on the riser as well. She's rocking out. It's just take advantage, like I mentioned, of the posability. Take advantage of the stands, not putting them in the default mode that they tell you to assemble it, and create diversity by using risers to change the level and height of the figures and make it interesting to look at, and try to avoid overcrowding. I did overcrowd here, but I wanted to cover all the wall, but try to create small scenes of figures when you create your displays. So, Kim and I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to the channel. Please give a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and keep having fun, everyone.